Hey everybody, and welcome to It's Time with me, Michael Forrest. And yeah, so here we are again for coming. Before we actually start out, I'd like to well, just for those of you that are joining us who may not know who we are, let's start out with that. We have been producing live events in Altspace which is a social VR platform, for the past going on nearly 4 years. And in that time, we've done a lot of events, and in that we've basically been going to get to yeah, okay, wow, I'm all over the place starting out here. I was getting really sick before shows, and I botched the intro. How will he go on? How will he recover from this? But yeah, so we've been hosting live events in Altspace for a while now, and for the past nearly 2 years, we've been doing a virtual game show called It's Shark Time. And if you haven't caught it, we are available on YouTube. You can see us there, or even better yet, come into Altspace VR. You don't need a VR headset to do it. You can come in on 2D and come out and see our show. So we've got a lot of our regulars here. We've got Morgan Forrest helping us out with the moderation. We've got Hummingbird. We've got Fioravante. Hey, Fioravante. We've also got, who else we got? We got Rick. We got Popat. And we've got Ravenhall with us. Yes, we do. So that's what we have going on here. So let's see. Before we start out, I'd like to start out on kind of a serious note. A very good friend of mine lost her father a few years back, and this is the anniversary, and it's always a tough day for her. So, Fioravante, our thoughts are with you, and we'd just like to, if we could, dedicate this show to Duke and the memory of him. So yeah, that's what we're doing there. All right. So also now this marks the 1 week anniversary. Speaking of anniversaries, since we started the Twitch channel, and we've learned some things as we've been playing with this stuff. We knew a lot of things would go wrong. As a matter of fact, during our first show, the wheels actually did fall right off of, well, they fell off my chair actually. And today, what we received was a replacement casters for the chair. The problem is our mailbox is a considerable distance away. It's about it's about a mile, I guess, together. And as many of you know, I've had some health issues for when I started out in VR, and this would have been unthinkable then. But today I made the attempt to go down there and get it. I didn't quite make it, but the fact that I even tried, it's the first time I left the house in probably about 5 years. It might have been a little bit less. I think I've attempted this kind of thing before. But yeah, so definite progress is being made. If you'd like to see said casters, let's have a look here if we can have it queued up and see if I can actually do this. Let's see. Yeah, so this is what we're looking at. This is they're based on rollerblades, so we won't have any problems like we've had with the chair so far. This will solve that, and that's what we are waiting on. We will keep making attempts, and I will attempt to keep all of you posted. All right, let's see if we can get back to our main view here. There we go. All right, now let's see here. Let's see what's going on here. Now, as many of you are, who are just joining us now, and we're watching. Yes, the wheel. How is the voice, by the way? Is the voice quality okay? Am I choppy or? Doing that. I should also let all of you know that if I do become choppy at any point, I'd like to ask you all if you could just say the word squid in chat. That is our signal to let me know that I need to recalibrate the sound. Thank you, Popat. Because we have, when that's going like that and we get choppy, I don't know what's happening. We are broadcasting from underwater, which can be a bit of a challenge. And so when that happens, I need to recalibrate the sound. So just say squid, and we'll see if we can get that cleared up. All right, there we go. Hummingbird says we're good. All right, then we must be good. All right, so let's see what we have for you here today. We got a lot of stuff happening on the show today. Let's have a look here. But yeah, so a few of the things that we've learned from doing this in the past week. All right, we've made some mistakes. The last video, I forgot to calibrate the sound like I was just talking about, and the audio and the video were out of sync for pretty much the entire last show. So it may look a little bit weird in places. It's not terribly bad. Hey, Courtney, thanks for joining us. It's not terribly bad, but it is there. Also, in addition to our mess ups, we actually didn't record the last Shark Time. What we've been doing before shows is we've been gathering on a set that we've been calling the Captain's Table. I can show you all that because we have a lot of new stuff. If you've missed it, we have some stuff here. Here's the view from the Captain's Table. And this is where we gather before shows. We've been meeting here and doing it like this before the show starts out. But with all the moving parts, I forgot to hit the record button. All right, so and it turns out that last show in Altspace was actually, if you were there, it was actually really good. And I've been kicking myself that we did not that we missed it. Hey, Bamba, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And Cool Gamer, how are you? All right. So, yeah. So as we've been doing this, so, mistakes and learning, kind of learning like new muscles, really. And we've been doing a lot of research too to learn all of this stuff. And one thing that we keep seeing again and again is that all these videos say that when you start out on Twitch, you have to get in the habit of talking to yourself because many times you don't start out with an audience. I've been very fortunate because a lot of our regulars have tuned in, and I'm very grateful for that. But there is going to come a time where I may have to, talk into nothing and basically talk to myself. But I gave this a lot of thought, and it's not really like that. It's because if the stream is up for 2 weeks, then people are sometimes watching when you're not there. And very often I actually watch them because that's how I improve. I watch my previous performances and I look at it and I go, wow, I'm still saying far too much. I'm saying it way too often. I'm constantly saying and I just did it now. Oh, I caught myself. But yeah, so you'll watch the videos in an attempt to get better. And so in that way, I'm actually talking to my future self, which is pretty weird, and it's kind of like tossing, it's a message in a bottle, really, if you think about it, because you're talking to the people that are here now, but you're also talking to people that are in the future. And let's see, the desk. Oh yes, actually that's supposed to be a table in the dining in the dining hall there, Cool Gamer. But yeah, we're working on making that more apparent. And Morgan said, yeah, I do know. Do you know? I know. Do you know? Can you hear me now? How about now? So yeah, there's that. So let's see. What advice would you give the future? That's an excellent question, Rick. That's an excellent question. Let me think on this. All right, well, you know what it is? One thing we've learned from doing this also is that when I go to take a sip of coffee, my face contorts in unusual and painful ways that look menacing, as I'll demonstrate right now. Here we go, because we've solved this problem. Here we go. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm taking a sip of coffee right now. Okay, now you saw my mouth moving during all of that, right? And sometimes I scowl, like my eyebrows go down like this, and I look, well, actually I can't even do it, there we go. But yeah, my eyebrows go down, and I look very menacing, and it's unfriendly. We don't like that. So what happened was Mrs. Producer, Morgan Forrest, she had this idea, and I'm going to show it to you now, all right, because it's one of the changes that we have available to show you, all right? We have this new scene. So now when I sip coffee, I can go to this scene, and I have to tell you, I want that mug. We need to make that happen. Look at that thing. Just look at it. It's beautiful. So now I'll take a sip of coffee and I will not appear to be menacing. So if you're all drinking coffee, please feel free to join me. Right now I think we're still on the Chilean. I hope I'm saying that right. Chilean. It's from Chile. That's where the coffee's from. And we're going to take a sip of that right here. So now we're sipping the coffee. There we go. All right, coffee has been sipped, and I did not look menacing, and now we can return to our previous scene. All right, now here we have something that is, it does look real. It does, Cool Gamer. I was very thrilled with how that came out. Morgan has been doing a remarkable job with the graphics and bringing all this cool new stuff to us. One cool thing that we have that's new is if you look behind me on the radar, all right, you're going to see that we have what says the comm link open. Now, right now, you'll see those lines moving. They're moving in time with my voice. Now, later, when we have calls, when we plan on having people on the show, and if we do an audio call or a video call, we'll have a similar screen over there or, some similar layout to that. But we think it's a really cool effect. We worked hard to install it, and we're very pleased with it. So maybe we'll just leave it there for a little while and watch it modulate. Watch, I'll go silent for a minute, and we'll watch the bars fall. Yes, the bars went down to nothing. They did it again. So it modulates to my voice, and we think it is really cool. We like it a lot. So now I'm going to restore the radar image because you never know what's coming. Now, some of the, that's absolutely possible, Cool Gamer. We're going to have some people on the show. And yes, in the future, there will be coffee. That is my message to the future. Popat, there will be coffee. Audio call. Yeah, an audio call, and we might also do some video calls with other avatars. We might actually go into different platforms to interview people. We're going to let this thing grow like right in front of us, and we're hoping you'll all join us for the ride. We do have a lot of plans and stuff, Morgan did some amazing work on that. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a stock image with the without the with the logo on it, So there was some work went into that, but it did come out really good. It's very exceptional. We like it very much, And I definitely want a mug like that. I have a fondness for those silver mugs. They're very cool. All right, so now let's see, where are we here? I'm just going to take a quick look here at the notes here. Yeah, so basically, so when the people that are watching us during the week, that messages for the future and everything, among the people that watch us, sometimes because I try to talk to the audience like they're my friend. I really do. I make a real effort to do that. And sometimes that's not easy, especially in Altspace, when you recognize some of the people that are coming in and they don't have the best intentions. We've had to deal with that a lot over the years. We've suffered a lot of harassment and things along those lines from not just users, but from admins too. And it has been a difficult journey. But we know that they do, from experience, we've learned that they actually watch the things that we're doing very closely, and quite possibly this stream. But the way I actually got around this was I made peace with the fact that they are not my audience. All right, they are not pretty enough to be my audience. They are not cool enough to be my audience. They do not sit at the cool table. You sit at the cool table, our regulars especially. And it's pretty funny, like when you're in high school, you've got the cool table there. All right, I remember going in there and seeing that, and then the table adjacent to it was there was a bunch of kids that looked like they didn't fit in, and they were playing Dungeons and Dragons, right? And I did sit with them for a little while, but eventually I really chose no table kind of a thing, and I didn't really spend all that much time in school. Kind of sort of went my own way kind of a thing. And what happened was you had these two tables set up there. And I realized just from watching, I'm like, all right, where am I going to sit? What am I going to do? And just from watching it, I observed, because I was through the body language, that the cool table, right, they needed that other table there so that they could feel superior. And the other table, all right, they actually sat themselves near that table because this way they could hear what was being said at the cool table. All right, so they kind of needed each other. They kind of existed off of one another. And this whole message in a bottle thing we're doing, the people that are out there and they are watching us to, see what we're doing, to, spy on us and all that kind of stuff, right? They're not our audience. And, that's how I've really come to look at it. I greatly value my audience, and that's kind of what we go there. All right, let's see here. But yeah, so that's there. Now, after first week of settling in, we've learned some stuff. We had all those technical errors, and we're getting them a little bit, cleaner each time, and showing you new things on the set and everything. But I'd like to now, if I can, I brought up a subject in one of our recent shows. I'm not sure if it was at the captain's table or during its time, but I brought up the plight of the modern muse. All right, and I'd like to visit that if I can. All right, and so for that, we're going to go over to our viewer, and hopefully we have that all set up right now. Let's have a look here if we can jump over to that screen right now. All right, there. Okay, we're still on that slide. Uh-oh. All right. Well, let's switch out over. All right, we'll get rid of that for a moment. All right, that should do it. All right, now I mentioned. Now consider the moose for a minute. We got to first of all get rid of that wheel behind there. That's not good. That doesn't look professional at all. All right, here we go. All right, that's gone. All right, now let's see. All that baffles me. Yeah, it's the behavior really has shocked us too, Rick. It really has. It's been a strange thing. It really has. But now, for a moment, we're going to consider the modern moose. All right, because last week I made you all aware that they often fall victim to organized crime. Right? Very often orcas will eat moose, and that's not a thing that you would typically think that an orca would be eating. All right? Now, you got to keep in mind that these animals, the moose is really, they've kind of got it all. They stand 6 feet tall at the shoulder. They weigh typically about 1,000 pounds. All right? And they really don't fear a whole lot. All right, because they're massive. You see a car going and it hits a moose. Now, if a car comes and hits you, it's over. It's just over. And if but if it hits a moose, well, very often that moose will keep going, and you're going to need a new car. All right. So what we have here is I'm going to show you a video. All right, we're going to take a look at this here. All right, and you're going to see. All right, and hopefully it'll turn up. But you're going to see we've got a boat approaching. All right, this cliffside here. All right. Now, the moose fears nothing, not even gravity. And so you're going to see, as we're moving closer to the cliff, at the very top, keep your eye on that cliff, and you are going to see a moose dive from a height, which I'm going to estimate is around 50 feet or so. All right. It should be visible now. It's coming over to the edge. It's kind of small, so you're going to have to look for it. All right. Here it's coming up. And so the boat's approaching, and now you're going to see this moose appear, and he's going to dive down into the water. Watch for it. All right, there he goes. He's just right in there. He just went in there, right? Now, what you're going to notice, right, is now what happens is, the moose has got it pretty good. He's not afraid of anything, including gravity. And he's, looking out over the water, and he sees that other island, and he's thinking, you know what, food's been kind of scarce. You know what, I'm going to go for it because I'm a moose, right? I can swim. I can do all the things, right? So I'm just going to jump off this cliff. I'm not even going to walk down in the water. I fear nothing, right? So you got that happening, all right? And now, all right, what happens is the moose, or what he'll do is sometimes he'll see this big shiny fin coming out of the water, all right? That's bad. And that's usually the orca going to take him out. But let's say he survives that. Let's say he gets past the orca somehow, all right? There's something even more dangerous awaiting for him, all right? And what we're about to see, I just want to be clear, all right, the people that we're about to see in this video, these people are not our audience. They do not sit at the cool table, and if you recognize yourself in this video, please unfollow me, and please do not come to our shows. You are not my audience, just to be clear. All right. Oh, the wheel's back. Oh, wow, okay. Wow, the wheel really wants to go, doesn't it? All right, here we go. All right, how's that? All right, wheel's gone. Thank you. Who told me that? That was Rick. All right, thanks. All right, so now let's see. Is a moose a type of fish? Asking for a friend, Amber Bomb wants to know. No, a moose is a giant animal, and really just big. And at any rate, so let's say he gets past the orca, and he's going along, and he's going to find something a bit more dangerous. All right, now I came across this, and and I'm going to share it with you now. All right, but to be clear, all right, to be absolutely 100% clear, this is not our audience. All right, let's have a look at what we got here. All right, now there's a man who, again, is not our audience, and he's closing in on a boat behind the moose. Now, picture this from the moose perspective. All right, there's a boat coming up behind you. You're crossing a body of water. You've survived orcas. All right, you're big, you're bad, nothing gets in your way, and there's this half-naked human coming up behind you. All right, and he jumps, and he lands on the moose, and he's riding, and he does something else. He does a victory. All right, he pumping his fist like that, like he's living his best life, but not so for the moose. I understand they're looking for this man. There's $100,000 fine involved. All right, but he is not our audience. All right. Also, a little further ahead in this, I will show somebody that may be possibly related to this man. All right, because apparently we're going again. All right, is somebody surfing on a whale shark. This is just beyond messed up. All right, and there is the moose, who looks nothing like a fish, Emperor Bumpa. Nothing like a fish. Yes. So, though the man deserves to be eaten, well, he can maybe come to Shark Time and check us out there. But, so this is the moose being ridden by somebody who is clearly not a member of the cool table, not a member of our audience, all right? This is a guy that's riding the moose to glory, really, we can only assume. And he falls off at the end, all right? And at one turn of that moose, one turn of that head probably would have been enough to take that guy out. But he was getting him while he was in the water, and that's probably how the orca do it too. All right, you never knew what a moose was until now. Well, you've learned something here, Emperor Bumba. All right, and that's something to think on, everybody. It's something to think about. This is the things that keep me up at night, and I saw this during the week, and I couldn't unsee it, and now you can unsee it too. You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. Aren't you glad you tuned in and you got to see all the moose things? Yes, and Bumba, it is not a fish. All right, so let's see here. What do we have next up for all of you? That was our moose video. I was looking forward to sharing that. I thought that was going to be cool. All right, so let's see. Now we are going to be going shortly over to Sharky to visit the haunted kelp forest, everybody. It's true. We're going to going to check that out soon in just a moment. But before we do, let me just make sure everything's set up here. We got everything right. We are going to be, as I mentioned this last time, we're going to be working on a new project. All right, let me just switch back over here. And the way this is going to work is we would like to stream a lot of it. We would like to stream the process of how we're doing it. So working with Unity, working with Blender, and doing all those things together in a way that you can kind of follow along. If you're learning how to be a world builder, or if you have an interest in that, you may pick up some stuff because we'll answer questions in the chat there. Let's see. There's something about a rodeo. Moose rodeo. Yeah. Morgan and I have been debating all day whether, the plural of moose is meese. Now, I don't think it's true. I think it's like deer, really, where it's just moose. Hey, look at all the moose there. But apparently Morgan has been saying meese, and so that's something that Morgan does. And yeah, so that happened. All right, so but I'm pretty sure it's moose actually. Haunted kelp forest sounds fun, and Sharky. Yeah, Sharky will be joining us shortly. But before we do, I have been working on a project that where we are going to be bringing a world into VR chat. Now, as we start doing this, I started thinking, well, what should we start with first? Should we bring the set over? But we would like to start with something new because we're really trying to open up the Mount Ravenhall Complex more for everyone to experience. The things that we talk about during shows for the past 2 years. It'd be neat if all of you could see some of this stuff. So we started, talking about, designing my office in the Mount Ravenhall Complex and what that would look like, based on some of the feedback that we got during shows, and we have all that listed out there. Or Mises. Yes, Mises, Fioravante. Mises is good. Oh, Morgan deferred. All right, some Mises. All right, there we go. But so we are going to be working on my office space there. And as we're doing that, I'm going to take all of you along for the ride. Now, a lot of our sets actually begin with a sketch where we do a floor plan, because I'll be describing it to Morgan, and Morgan will say, I think I got it, but visually having a floor plan really helps lay out the space. Now, if you've been to our events, you've seen our artwork, and this does not reflect the level of skill that we have. These are just quick sketches, but I thought I'd share it with you as letting you know this is a very common starting point for me when I build a world, or when we build a world and we start working on a project together. So let's switch over to our viewer right now and see if we can get that back. We're going to go back to our wheel view. All right, let's see here. We've got, it should be coming up, but it not disappear. It's back there. I'm still learning how to work this stuff, so bear with me. There we go. All right, cool. All right, so now that we have the wheel visible, we're going to move on to here, and you're going to see. Oh yeah, this is the orca going after the moose. I probably should have led with that. But if you could see, all right, organized crime is a real problem. Just look at that orca. Look at that innocent moose. He's all menacing. And if he makes it past that, he's still got that guy in his swim trunks to deal with. All right, that's a problem. All right, but at any rate, so this is going to be the design for a world that we're going to attempt to build in VR chat. And it's going to basically be kind of a hangout space where we can work from, and where things will get started from. And we're going to expand on it and see how far we can go. But this is the layout. You'll see that there's a sitting area. The blue area toward the bottom is sort of like a 2-level waterfall kind of a thing. The office is half outside the mountain, and it looks down probably onto the Aquadrome, or maybe onto Shark Park, which is another world that we have in development. A desk with monitors behind it, and that blue area at the top is a tube where an access tube where Sharky can go through. You also have, if you look at the top right, that's where the spawn point will be. It's like one of those tube systems, and it'll spin around when somebody arrives, and it should be pretty cool. Now, I know this does not look like much, all right? So just, and those of you that have been with us for a while, those of you that have been coming to the show for a long time, you might appreciate a little bit of history here, because I was able to dig up. This is the very first floor plan that we made for It's Shark Time. All right, this is before anything was built. This was all in the discussion points, and it's not exactly like the set that we have today, but you can see this was the beginning of it. Like, the lobby looks completely different. In this version, there's a backstage, and that doesn't exist now. But also, we did I also found another concept sketch here. All right, and this was one of the first things. And again, this was before anything was built. And knowing what the set looks like now, because most of you that are in the chat have seen it, let's see, we have 11 viewers, so there may be some people who are joining us for the first time who aren't familiar with our work. If so, welcome. You can catch us on YouTube or in Altspace performing our virtual game show called It's Shark Time. And we've recently expanded into Twitch, where we are going to be hopefully taking a journey together as we expand in other platforms. We're hoping this results in a playable game on Twitch. But yeah, this is where it began. We would sit there and we would sketch these things out, and we would talk about where it was going to lead and what was going on there, and so that's kind of a look back there at where we started out from, and it is kind of neat to see it, because it was it was going on. I had to be about over 2 years ago for sure. I mean, we were doing the show for nearly 2 years, and the show sat there for nearly a year in working order before we actually launched it. We kept saying, oh, we got to work out this thing, and then we actually ended up launching it before it was finished, and I'm glad we did. Because at the time it wasn't actually making the first space that we were in wasn't very performant, and so we kept going and going there, where we kept going and showing mainly the admins that this is what we're working on, and they said the FPS wasn't low enough. So we started out with the event being unfeatured And it was just, people noticed us. They'd come in, and by some miracle we got an audience, and then they loosened up that restriction, and we were able to open it up to, to be a featured event. And then they switched into what they're calling main events, and that's what we've been doing since. And then we got a new version of the set, which we're very happy with. It's much more performant, and they also said that a lot of what we're doing now there wouldn't be possible because of all the glass involved, that we would never hit 70 FPS, and we did. And hopefully I'll be able to show you some of the tips and tricks we use to get there. But before we do, I believe we are now going to cut over to Sharky. All right, Buster looks different. Yeah, we basically, they all kind of look a little bit different there because we were basically just putting in clips of different graphics we had just to get the layout down, so we had that there. But I think we are going to go over to Sharky now, and we are going to check out the kelp forest and have a look at that and see, what you all think of his journey there. All right, and I'll let him explain it to you better. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment, and we'll be back with Sharky. So stay tuned, everybody, and we'll be back shortly.
Is it on? Is it on? How's my voice? How's my voice? Can anybody out there tell me how my voice is? Is my voice okay? Is my voice okay? I need to know. I need to know if my voice is okay. I had some tuna on the way over here, and I'm wondering if my voice is okay. That was that thing with the eel. Oh, I sound great? Well, thank you, Courtney. That's nice. Let's see. Beta Fish wants to give you strong sons. Oh, well, we're a family show for your Avante, but you tell your Beta Fish that I'd be very happy to meet them. That would be good. Yes, we'll meet them. That's what we'll do. Well, now that I, the star of the show, am here, Sharky, we can now discuss something I've been meaning to go over for some time now. Now, all of you can't hear me at It's Shark Time. I kind of sit there and I, try to look inspirational, and I try to maintain the tone of the show as best I can. Okay, well, is it working now? Is it working now? I saw somebody say okay. Okay is good. I know I wasn't chewing on the microphone there. I'm not sure what's happening. This is very terrible. This is the pressure performing. It's getting better, Matt the scientist said. All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to try something and see if it works. It's a terrible risk that we're going to take, but we're going to see if it works out. We're going to try this. Wait, Poopet says it seems okay. There's hope. It's clearing up all of its own. That's wonderful. Wait, maybe it wasn't us. Maybe it was Twitch. Are they against us? Nemesis Labs is taking over Twitch? Is that possible? I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, while I still have you here, all right, now I still have you. The squid is gone, and we've cleared that up. Oh, wait, don't touch my squid. That's bad. All right. But yeah, I don't know why Michael chose squid as a code word. He knows about my attachment to squid, my companion fish. Squid is my friend. But no, he did that. But anyway, I would like to talk to all of you about something very important to me. You see, there's a big debate between me, Melvin, Buster, and Fang about whether or not the nearby kelp forest is haunted. Now, I think it is, and I don't go in there. No, I do not. It's very bad in the kelp forest. I don't go there. So what I did was I teamed up with Fang, because I figured I would show you all what the kelp forest looks like, and you can all see for yourself how scary it is, and you can let me know if you think there's a possibility that it could be haunted. So what I'm going to show you now is, well, first let me tell you how we did it. You see, Dr. Starling has a mind control device. Now we use this, alright, to go up to the surface, and we found a boat, and on that boat we found a YouTuber. Now, we used the mind control device to convince the YouTuber to put a camera, like a GoPro, and if GoPro you'd like to sponsor the show, please feel free to reach out to us. Michael says I have to say that. But to put a camera on Fang's dorsal fin. And it's the fin on the back right there. You see it on it's right behind my headset. That fin right there on the top. That's the one. So we had him swim up to the surface, and they put the camera on his dorsal fin, all right? And again, because of the mind control device, they thought this was their idea, all right? With the eventual hope that they would post this on YouTube so that we could access it, all right? We could do it ourselves, but it's really hard to type and to do all this stuff when you don't have fingers. You humans are pretty lucky with those fingers, but the mind control device has been a great equalizer, and through that, we were able to get a video demonstrating that. So we're gonna go over there now. Michael, I'm ready. Put the thing on. Put the thing on, Michael. Put the thing on. Please put the thing on. Is it on? Is the thing on? I think the thing is on. You should all be able to see the thing. There should be the thing on. Alright? Michael, I'm ready for the video thing. Is it on? Okay, let's just see here. The video thing needs to go on now. We had to have the video thing. Alright, now, so what we're gonna see now, alright, is Fang's journey right now is gonna see we've got the back of Fang, and now Fang is now arriving, alright, in the kelp forest. And you'll see when you go there, it gets very misty, it's very scary, it's pretty bad, alright? And you're just going along there, and he's having himself a time, and, you know, Fang's not really afraid of it, but I think it's haunted. And I want to know your thoughts in the chat. Please comment if you think this place is haunted, because you've got the fog, and the trees are cool. I've been up top at the surface, thanks to Michael taking me around and stuff in my travel tank, and I've seen the forest up there, and it looks similar to this. There's all kinds of trees and stuff, you know, and it is a cool layout, you know, but it is, Bomba says it looks fishy. I agree. I agree with you, Bomba. You know, I knew you were cool, sitting at the cool table, one of our regulars. That's awesome. But yeah, deep in the kelp forest here, you can plainly see there's something going on here. I mean, where's that fog even come from anyway? I tried to Google it, and they kept talking about fog at the surface, because, you know, with Google, everything's about the surface all the time. Surface this, surface that, all the time with the surface, and I can't stand it anymore. But at any rate, we have Fang going through the kelp forest here, and while Fang did not actually see any type of ghost, we don't know that he didn't see a ghost, because I suspect that he had, when a shark bites something, it's not really like eyelids. Oh, what's this? Oh, yes, did Fang jump out of the water? What's going on there? Okay, that's my trick. You breached? I thought you couldn't breach, Fang. You said you wouldn't do that. Alright, so apparently there was a surprise at the end of the video. I should have reviewed that more closely, because apparently Fang breached at the end. Alright, which displaced the camera and foiled our experiment. But he may possibly have seen a ghost if he had gone a little bit further. But just based on your own speculation and based on what you've seen yourself of the kelp forest, I'm wondering if you all think it's haunted. Let's have a look at the chat and see, you know. Alright. Yeah, there's definitely organized crime out there, Hummingbird. You know, they don't get too many of those in the kelp forest, thankfully, because those sharks and orcas, we don't get on well. Not at all. They're mean to us. They flip us upside down, which puts us in this relaxed state. And when our guard's down, that's when they do all these mean things to us. It's terrible. It's horrible. But one day, we're going to have our revenge, because Dr. Starling is making all this cool equipment, and that's going to level the playing field, and it's going to be awesome. You know, let's see, Bomba says that you would go there. Oh, Bomba, you're very brave. I don't go into kelp forest. Never, not at all. I just don't do it ever, and that's not gonna happen. Alright, let's switch in here. Alright, now, if anybody has any questions now, I'd be happy to answer them and give you kind of a shark perspective on life and tell you, you know, what a shark thinks about things, because we know stuff. We know lots of stuff. We know all kinds of things, like you never stop moving unless you're a pajama shark. If you're a pajama shark, you got it all figured out. You ever see a pajama shark? They look awesome. I wonder if we could do that. Michael told me to stay on the plane. And I don't like to do that. I don't like to do that at all. You know what? Michael, I didn't finish the video. You could please put it back on, please. Please. Sharky, say please. Okay, put back that video thing right there. Let's see if we can find something here that shows you what I'm talking about. Alright, now this is unplanned, everybody, so let's hope this works out. Alright, here we go. We're back.
All right, everybody, and that was Sharky. I'm hoping that the squid issue has been resolved. Has it been resolved? How's the sound, everybody? Are we sounding okay? You know, please tell him it's caviar day. Oh, wow. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that there was a caviar day. You know, there we go. Wow, okay, that's very good. So the voice is cleared up then. Loud and clear. All right, that's good. So maybe it's just an issue with Sharky's headset, possibly, it being out there underwater and it being a highly experimental technology. We may have to do some things to try to clean that up, and it sounds good now. All right, so we are going to, keep working on that and see if we can't find a better way to bring Sharky to you more reliably. All right, Bamba was celebrating all day, Matt says, because apparently it's Caviar Day. That's pretty cool, you know what, Courtney, you're right, actually, and Morgan made this point earlier, too, that Sharky could be chewing the microphone. He does have, that is a bit of an issue, quite possibly, and I'm wondering if we're in sync. Let me have a look here. I'm going to wave right now. See, there we go. It's just to make sure that the audio is in sync, because I'm worried about, that not being in sync. Did I wave when I said I was waving, everybody? We'll check that out. See my dimensional pockets over here. Oh, this is the other set. All right, it's Eating Squid Day. All right, I keep seeing references to squid. Oh no. All right, so we were in sync there. That's great. All right, now also let's see here. What else do we have for you here? Let's see, because we did that, and we showed you the new project. We showed you the haunted kelp forest. All right, and now the thing that we are working on, where we said we're going to start out working on my office. There's one thing I think we're going to try to go to first if we can, and that is. I'm going to open up AllSpace in the background here, see if we can jump over to it in just a moment, see if we can get over there. So if you hear some popping going on in the background, that's what's happening there. But one thing we would like to do first before we go ahead and work on my office is I promised some time ago, there's the nearby island where Henry and Matt have their barbecue every week. It's very close to this island that we are at. And so we go, over there and, once a week and we hang out and stuff and we help them with the space. We lowered the water down. We didn't build it. We just helped bring it in after AllSpace did an update and we touched it up a little bit. We added some stuff. We brought Sharky in there. He's probably headed over there now. We might bump into him. And what happens was we had promised Henry and Matt that we would make a barbecue to go with the space, because the weird thing about the barbecue is that there actually is no barbecue. There used to be, but AllSpace took it away from them, because AllSpace kind of does that. They take away things. And okay, everybody, how is that? Is that any better? All right, very squid. Morgan said very squid. Let's see if we're going to give a moment for the chat to catch up and see if that cleared things up. I'm hoping it did. All right, it could just be a processor thing. We got things, much better. Oh, good. Rick says perfect. We can't do better than perfect. It's all clear now, according to Popat. But so what we're going to do is we're going to work on doing that barbecue first before we do the office and finishing that out. We do have a way to make good on the winter kit, but I need to discuss it with Morgan first, because the idea came to me as the show was beginning. It might be really cool if we do that, but it might be kind of an over thing. So we will be announcing that hopefully at the show if we do decide to go that way. Because it is something that we would like to fulfill. So when we start working on models here on the channel, we're probably going to begin with that barbecue. And we already have kind of a head start there because, as I said, Morgan had designed the pig that's going to be used on that set. And we're going to go from start to finish. I haven't touched Blender in quite some time. And, while I'm probably very rusty and I've forgotten a great deal. I still remember the techniques, but I may not remember the keyboard shortcuts. And I think that actually might be good, because many of you will get to see the process as though from a newish user perspective. And we'll see how that works out. And you can actually all see the process if any of you are interested in coming by for that. Morgan says she wants kits. Yes, well, we're going to be giving the kits. That was the plan, but I had another idea in addition to that, but I don't want to say it on the air, because then it's going to, Morgan's going to come in and she's like, how could you promise the audience that? How could you? And that's happened before, so I don't want to make that mistake of, of doing that live on the air. So, pending a discussion, we might be coming out with something else. Either in addition to that kit or, in place of, we'll see how that goes. We're going to discuss those options. Rick's laughing, yeah, there we go. So that's good. That's a good thing. So here, so now, let's see, what else do we have for you here tonight? We have, I think, more. All right. Actually, yeah, there's also one of the last shows. I think it was the last time we did this here at its time, which didn't have a name then. We were calling the Monday segment It's Time. A lot of people in the chat were talking about the excursions that we used to do. Now, the reason we stopped doing them is because we were having a bit of a problem. I don't want to call it a behavior problem, but there were some users that were making other users feel uncomfortable. And now you've got the entire internet for that kind of thing. You've got dating sites, you've got much of alt space. If you've looked around there lately, you'll see that. You've got tons of space on the net for that kind of thing. But they decided that our excursions, where we specifically said it was family friendly, was the perfect place to do that kind of thing. And it made some of the other users uncomfortable. And we had to act on that, and it was a very unpleasant experience because of that. Other than that, I think we found the excursions to be very enjoyable. And a peopling problem, Courtney. That's a good way to put it. So, and again, if anybody finds the announcements from Raven and I to be in any way disruptive, let us know, and we'll adjust the timings. So we have that there. But yeah, so we were meeting over in VR chat, and we were doing those things. An alternative space. I like that. Cool gamer. So we were meeting over there, and we were playing miniature golf. We were flying planes. We were playing freeze tag and stuff, and it was a good time. And we're looking to maybe get back to that because a lot of you have been asking for it. We'd like to, but we'd like to prevent what happened before from happening again. And since we are working on our channel, we had the thought of possibly streaming these excursions and seeing how that went and how that performed, if it was going to be too choppy, if it'd be even possible, if all of you would be comfortable, if all of our regulars would be comfortable having a stream during that time, because it's going to be like, well, don't stand near Michael Forrest. He's on the air. He's recording. This is live. This is going out to all over the world. So possibly, maybe, we're going to have it. So, we have to tell everybody, of course, that we're going to be streaming. But if all of you would be okay with that, then maybe we could attempt that, because I am of the mind that when people know they're on camera, they might behave differently, and that might actually take care of the problem before it comes up again. So that's possible. All space VR, an alternative space in VR. Well, it's an alternative, all right. I think the alt is because everybody in there seems to have an alt. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Well, the screen just blinked out. I think they're on to me. I should probably not talk about that. But yes, I think that's actually how they got their name, Cool Gamer. I think that's what they were trying to suggest in their title there. But I think now, these days, it means something else entirely. It really does. All right, but what we're going to do now is I'm going to switch over to our other view here. Let's have a look here. And I'm going to show you, for those of you who haven't been with us and haven't been on these excursions, some of the stuff that we've done in VR chat the first couple of months that we were doing this anyway. All right, let's get rid of our video here. Let's see if we can get rid of that. And let's bring back our slides here. All right, there we go. All right, so now, all right, let's see. All right, now this is from when we played miniature golf. You should see that, oh, Cult Space. It should be called. Courtney, I like that. Cult Space. I've been thinking about, what it's going to be like when we start, because we always talked about starting a blog to basically talk about the time that we've had in VR. And, and I'm a very big believer in not naming names. All right, not just for legal purposes. I just don't think it's right, because when people are engaging in gossip about you, I don't want to do it back. But you got to come up with alternative names for things. And Cult Space, there's just something about it, Courtney. I think you've hit on something pretty major. It's a good thing you signed that consent form, because now that we own the rights to it, we could totally use that in the blog. That'll absolutely work. We should totally do that. Let's see. Somebody has joined the chat. I can't say that because I might get sued, because I don't know if that's happened or not. But there we are. All right, so now this is from, I'm going to flip through these because there's a lot of them. But there you have me, Smarty Marty. We have Matt and Courtney over here on the other side. There's an extreme close-up of Courtney, everybody. An extreme close-up. And here you'll see an extreme close-up of Matt the scientist. And you can tell he's thinking about science right now. You can see it. It's in his eyes. He's always thinking about the science. And here's the end. Courtney tends to win a lot of these matches, so you see her up there. And we also have, me trying to block that truth, right there. But yeah, this is from the excursions. This is in a really great world in VR chat where they have miniature golf, and it's a pretty legit experience. It actually feels like a night out. And it's pretty convincing. The physics aren't all the way there yet, but it is a remarkable build. It is really very good, and it's a nice way to spend time with your friends. And this is where we started doing the excursions from. And over time, we branched out into other experiences that we would have there. We did I think there was called, there's somebody called, I think it's just, you pronounce the name Sachan, possibly, but a brilliant world designer that they've done jet fighters. We flew those around. And now they have a place called Test Drivers where you could drive cars around. Maybe we'll do the next excursion there. Maybe we'll try doing that. But we're thinking about bringing them back again. But we're also thinking about streaming while we do them because we think having the camera on them would actually make for a better experience there. So there we go. So let's see. Courtney stole Matt's hoodie. All right, there we go. And it looks like the start of a commercial. All right, wow. Okay, well, we could do a commercial maybe. That would be fun. Let's see. There's Courtney looking over at Matt. And this is one of Smarty Marty's avatars. Smarty Marty's one of our regulars. And if you're out there watching Smarty, hello. And there's the rainbow socks of Smarty Marty. And here, for some reason, at the end of these excursions, they would always devolve or evolve, depending how you look at it, into avatar changes. I mean, changing avatars over in VR chat is a big thing, and it's kind of cool to have that freedom to do that. There's really like a lot of very different and wonderful options. You can really be anything. Like right now, here, Matt is a can of beans. There you are. So we have that there, and then it moves around too, which is kind of weird. Believe Matt's the puppy here, and that small object right over on the ledge is actually Courtney, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. And then we have the puppy waving. All right, and then we have the wagon wheel of one of the most difficult holes. If the designer of this world, and I forget their name, but if they are watching this stream at any point in time, I want to let you know that I think you've done a remarkable and amazing job. But this hole, I cannot express the level of hate I have for this hole. All right, this is one of the worst experiences. This is just, I believe this is the 13th hole, and it is well numbered. It is absolutely well numbered. Oh, look, a dimensional bucket. Look at that. Oh, wow, there's all that cool stuff in there. Oh, that's neat. Oh, there really was one of those on that side. Is there over here too? No, it's not on this side. It's just on this side. Oh, that's very thoughtful, Dr. Sterling. I can keep my stuff there, my coffee mug and all that. That's cool. It's also a good way for me to, get back and change scenes. That's nice. I like that. Yeah, those are the Ready Player Me avatars. Those are really great ones. If you're just starting out in VR, especially in VR chat, having an avatar that's unique and your own is kind of a big deal. And Ready Player Me makes it super simple. They do incredible work. One really great thing I love about it is you can actually, I like to look like myself in VR. So I was able to actually use my photograph to model this avatar that I'm using now on stream. And also this same avatar goes in the VR chat. I would like it if you guys could fix the texture on the glasses. That would be awesome, because when I'm over there, I've got kind of like these reflective sunglasses, which really kind of works in the flight world, because, I can feel the need for expeditious velocity and, go up that way. But, for other things, it is nice to be able to see the eyes. And I think that's, I think that's licensed Yoshi over there in the dragon costume. If it is a dragon costume, it might be some kind of lizard. Some kind of. Oh, wait a minute, licensed Yoshi. Oh, see, dinosaur costume. I get it now. All right, so a little bit slow there. Took months to figure it out, but here we go. Finally got the joke. And moving on to the next, right? All right, so we have a bunch of these from the excursions. I would like to see them go back. So we have Yoshi right there. I don't know if Yoshi's still watching, but if you are, there you are. You're now, you're now Twitch famous, Yoshi. Look at that. All right, very cool. All right, so let's see. There we have my wife and producer, Morgan Forrest, doing the miniature golf thing. There we are. All right. Let's see, very late. Oh yes, very late. Getting joke very late. Let's see, and yeah, they have worlds that are PC only. One really great if you're on PC. One world that I like to make our excursions as accessible as possible, so we never did an excursion there. But one world that I really enjoy, but it's unfortunately PC only. I think if they pared it down some, it could work really well on the Quest. And I hope the creator of the world, if you're out there watching, I hope you consider this in making it more mobile friendly. But all of the excursions that we do, we try to make them mobile friendly so that the most amount of people can participate in it. This miniature golf course here that we're seeing is mobile friendly, but one of the worlds I like to go to is a sailing world where you can actually sail a sailboat. I'm very into that, and it's a pretty convincing experience, but unfortunately it's PC only. But more and more worlds in VR chat are becoming mobile friendly, and in that way, I'm telling you, if VR chat really starts to put a focus on events, I really believe they have what it takes to displace Altspace. Altspace is already their population has suffered quite a bit due to it's it's mainly a seasonal thing. It always goes down in the summer, but I think there's something larger at play based on what I've witnessed. I think there's a lot of turmoil and upheaval in their community, and I think VR chat's done a lot of things right. They really have. They've managed to kind of. It's not that bad things don't happen there. Bad things happen everywhere. But they have made it possible to kind of isolate yourself if that's what you want to do. If you're coming in with your own people, you can have a separate experience. And digging themselves an old grave. Well said, Courtney. Well said. I think when we go and start writing up the blog and we start coming up with, different names for some of the people involved and some of the things, I think we're going to turn to Courtney and ask, Cult Grave. Well, that's a good one. Yeah, there we go. Cult Grave. Yeah, that's a good one too, Morgan. Excellent. Yeah, down with all the names and stuff. So there we have, just mostly the miniature golf thing, because that's where we started out from. I only put a couple of months worth in here. I think there's some other stuff in there too when we expanded it out. About this. Did I clear that up? Is that better? Here we go. All right, no audio now. Yeah, I noticed that too. All right, so we've got Hummingbird saying squid. Let's see if that cleared things up at all. I wonder if it's the slides that's doing it. The last wave was full of squid. Oh no, Matt. Matt with the weather. All right, much better. All right, good. So hopefully that will persist. It was so bad it muted it. Yeah, the squid got really out of hand. It's a giant squid, and it's coming right for us, everybody. I don't know if we'll manage to survive. But yeah, so, Matt is right. It is very difficult to avoid toxic people. You have a culture where you get sort of shamed for the using the moderation tools. And it's a shame because you'll take actions, and those actions will then be questioned, and it can be very difficult to do that. And when you don't block people, you'll bump into them again and again throughout the different areas of Alt Space. And let's see, Darker Throne, Penguin. You know what? Actually, when we do get up to 50 subscribers, we'll be able to do more. 50 followers, I should say, because we'll be able to do surveys in the chat. But in addition to that, and I'm not entirely sure how this works, but there's different types of emotes that can affect on-screen actions. So there's things that could happen, that happen in the chat, and they will definitely they'll take place on the screen. So maybe it'll be like a squid notification where a squid actually goes across the screen. All right, now we are having a real world issue. I'll stand by just a second here. We are having how do I put this? All right, well, I don't want to break character here, but up at the surface there's a torrential downpour of rain. It's coming down, and there may have been windows left open up at the Mount Ravenhall Complex, and you'd think that we'd have like interns that could handle that, but as you know, we go through interns very quickly. So if you all just excuse me for 1 minute. You can hear it? You can actually hear the rain. Oh, that's cool. All right, wow. So yeah, that's actually the rain coming in there. It's breaking the illusion, but no, for all intents and purposes, I actually am in a sub. The rain is just that heavy that you're hearing it here in the ocean. That's true, inside of a sub. So we're going to take care of that just a moment. So if you all excuse me for just 1 moment, we'll return very shortly. Stand by, everybody. All right, Matt the Scientist saying it's always raining underwater, and that's a really good way to look at it. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, we had to close things up there. Mrs. Producer came running in trying to lock that down, and it looks like my eye is going crazy in the feed there. I think it's adjusting to the new light levels, but that's possible. So yeah, we are still learning how to use a lot of this stuff, and there are some problems with it here and there, but we're hoping it's going to get better and better as the weeks go by. We're hoping to make it more and more reliable, and hopefully we'll have it so that it'll be a much smoother experience for everybody. We've gotten a lot of feedback so far that people have been enjoying the shows, and that's great to hear, because in the beginning we didn't think anybody was going to watch, and then so many of our regulars showed up. We haven't had to perform to an empty room yet or to an empty chat. We're very grateful for that, and hopefully it continues. That would be all kinds of awesome. All right, so it looks like we have 11 viewers out there too, which is nice. All right, so let's see there now. Oh, Courtney says she loves the show. That's awesome. Cool. That's good to hear. Well, I think we're gonna be putting more into the show prep. I have a general idea of what I want to do when I go into these things, but I think having some of it laid out with like things that we can interact with, like the slides and the videos. I'd also like at some point to have guests on the show. As soon as we have some of the technology working, where it's more reliable, first we'll have somebody on, maybe with the audio possibly, and then try doing webcams and things of that nature, and seeing if we can get that. It would be pretty cool to do that. Also, if we go into VR chat and conduct interview type style things there, that would be kind of cool to talk with people who have been around for a while and hear some of their thoughts, because VR is something that we talk about a lot, and aside from doing the models and everything else, we have a lot of thoughts on some of the cultural things of social VR that you see happening, like some of the things like we were just talking about with the toxic communities. I mean, we have a lot of ideas for how to get around some of those things, and not only that, but where a lot of this technology could be going. Like I envision a time where, like let's say you put your headset on and you go to, let's say, the Eiffel Tower in France, for example. How cool would it be if people there were wearing glasses? Some of them would, some of them wouldn't. But those that were wearing the glasses would be able to see the avatars that we're visiting virtually. And maybe you can go up to a merchant and, try to go buy a T-shirt. And the merchant would be able to see and hear you. And then they'd ship that T-shirt to your location wherever you are in the world, and you would have the feeling of having gone to Paris. Or maybe there's somebody there that's a tour guide, and they would show you the Eiffel Tower from their local perspective, and that's something that you wouldn't get. One app that they have now that is sort of similar to this experience is an app called Wander. And it's a lot of fun, especially if you go in, like let's say you meet somebody in Allspace and they live on the other side of the world, and you go and you with them and they show you around, and that's a cool thing that you can do, even if it's just in another part of your own country. It's really cool to get somebody else's perspective and see the places that are meaningful for them. I would advise caution when using this kind of thing, because it's a great way to dox yourself. It's like, yeah, this is the house where I live, and somebody says, all right, well, let me see, I can't quite read the house number on that. Could you read it off to me slowly? And while we're at it, just out of curiosity, what's your mom's maiden name? I'm just wondering for science. That's all. But so yeah, you need to be careful always, because you never really know who you're talking to, and that's actually one thing that I fault Altspace for, in that the avatars are they're disarming, and they go around saying everybody's so friendly, and that's good for promotional stuff, but it's also a little bit irresponsible. Then they'll tell you to join their Discord, and they refuse to warn you about the dangers of doing that, dangers about clicking on links. So somebody could go ahead and publish a link on their Discord, and there might be something nefarious in that link. And I don't think they do enough to not only to protect their users, and I don't think they do enough to protect their content creators. They rely on us to produce events, and then when things happen from some things that people do, people get jealous and, oh, your event is better than mine, we're going to have to take you out and destroy you. When that kind of thing happens, well, I don't think that they go far enough to protect the people that need protecting. At least that's been our experience at any rate. Let's see here. See, it looks like Rick's leaving. Goodbye, Rick. Take care, Rick. Thanks for letting us know. Oh wow, Toddler's crying. Well, hope everything's okay. I hope it wasn't our show that did it. The kelp forest was pretty scary. I watched that footage. It looked pretty scary. I hope it wasn't that. Or maybe it was them surfing on a whale shark. I thought that was pretty messed up. They were water skiing on a whale shark. I thought that was something that. Well, let's just say the type of people who would do that were definitely not in our audience. Definitely not our audience. Our audience is cool and pretty and smart and all that. Definitely not that. All right. The Jackbox games, when we played them, we actually liked doing the Jackbox games. They were fun for the most part, but they do have a tendency to kind of take us a little bit off brand. And there's so much, in the net and in the world that isn't family friendly, that we kind of strive hard to deliver that. I don't have anything against, to be clear, because I had to clear up any misconceptions here. I have nothing against adult content at all. I think there's absolutely a place for it. But I think in VR especially, I think family friendly content is very hard to come by. And I've seen instances where I had a guy at the show and he had his 11-year-old niece, which it's against the terms of service for Altspace, but nevertheless he had his 11-year-old niece in our audience, and he felt comfortable there, going to our show. But I've had the experience too where my mom and my parents come in a lot, and we've tried going to other events, and and we were made to feel, uncomfortable. with some of the stuff that was going on there. So you have to be mindful of that. And I do think that there's a place for it. There's a place for both. And we actually had a huge push to change our content to make it, adult focused. And I refuse to do it, primarily because I do have my parents out there in the audience, but also because I really think it's an underrepresented part of VR, and I think the other end of it is oversaturated, and I think there's room for both. So I'd like to have that happen there. Let's see. Also, Matt says the toddler is jealous and wants to see the show too. Well, that's awesome. Well, that would be cool if that was the case. I mean, I don't know if we get fans that young though, Matt. We welcome for all ages though. We did have somebody, somebody who was on the show and they had a child on their lap, and it was cool because you could actually see them bouncing the baby, like through the body language of the avatar in VR. That's really the power of VR, in that you can see people moving in the real world. Like I saw somebody petting a cat once, and you could actually see the outline of the cat's back as they pet them, which that was pretty cool. But when the baby during the show acted up, we made jokes about it because it was saying, the baby just wants to be on the show. The baby wants to be VR famous, and this is just your baby's first time performing. We had a lot of fun with it. It was a good time. Let's see. Courtney's niece actually drew a picture that ended up on Shark Time for a character that we're going to develop called Finny, and really the creation of that character began there, and that's actually one of the cool things about the show is it evolves over time. And very often, a lot of our regulars actually contribute to the content and some of the things that make it in there. Like Bamba is Courtney's character, and Finny is Courtney's niece's character. But apparently, and even our regulars become kind of characters on the show, and there are recurring bits. Like one of our regulars, Carp, is always doing this thing about being from Mars, and he brings that into the show. It brings in that character and that quality. And these are things that we could not have possibly planned for. They're things that just involved as we all kind of play together. And it is really a lot of fun to do. I think, and yes, Finny is a very nice shark, and that's how she will be modeled, because that's how she was described. But yeah, I do think that your niece might enjoy meeting Sharky. That would be nice. And we have that there. But I'm with Morgan. I'd like to ask the chat, how would you all feel if we do excursions again? How would you all feel about streaming them while we do the excursions? Would anybody be uncomfortable with us filming and streaming as we do it? I mean, it would be a different experience, I'm sure. But, we could, if we're streaming the excursion experience, it would get a lot more eyes on how much fun it can be. That would be one thing. But I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. So please do let us know either in the chat or on our Discord if any of you feel that you'd be uncomfortable being filmed. Because when you try this stuff out, you don't know how it's going to go over all the time. Like recently, it's been, because of the lower population in all space, it's been kind of difficult to have people up on the platform and up to the show. And so sometimes nobody raises their hand to come up. And recently, one of the ways I addressed that is I made the entire audience come up. And one of our regulars that comes around, Hyperspace Galaxy, when I went to do this bit again, I saw her in the audience shaking her head back and forth like, no, just no. And she was uncomfortable doing it. All right. So Yoshi doesn't mind being reported. That's good. Neither does Matt. Hummingbird doesn't mind. All right. Cool Gamer likes being famous, so Cool Gamer is going to be standing, in front of the camera, often trying to become VR famous. And this is going to be the route that he takes. He's going to come in through Shark Time, circumvent us, and he's going to jump right in front of the camera, and he's going to be like, Twitch, this is my moment. I've been waiting for you. So that's probably what's going to happen there. But you don't mind that. Courtney doesn't mind. So it looks like nobody's really going to mind this. So we could maybe give this a try soon. In the next couple of weeks, we'll try to set it up, and we'll see how it performs. Hopefully, it won't be too choppy because we're not going to have people notifying us for Squid. Let's see. Okay, well, Morgan's kind of there, but kind of not there. So one thing that we can do, because one issue we're going to have is monitoring the chat. It will be possible for us to have the chat visible while we're in there, so that'll help. We'll be able to see, if anyone's posting on chat. We'll be able to keep a better eye on it than we do when I'm performing at Shark Time. I think it'll be a very different groove, and I think it's the kind of thing we're just going to have to feel it out. Let's see, and okay. All right, Fioravante saying she doesn't mind either. So it looks pretty unanimous. that we are gonna. Nobody's going to mind being recorded, and we can try doing one of our excursions again and doing it as a stream. That would be, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think we should try it. I think we will. We're going to go for it, everybody. We're going to do it. That's what's going to happen there. All right, let's see if we have anything lined up for us here. All right. So I think we covered everything that we've laid out, but we still have a little bit of time left, everybody. So if anybody has any questions at all, I'd love to take them. You could just ask them in the chat. And I see that we've lost some viewers. Oh no, but we knew Pope Pat was leaving, so so there we are. But yeah, so hopefully. If anybody has any questions at all, just post them in the chat there, and we will be happy to take those. In the meantime, I'm trying to think if we've missed anything. I don't think that we have. I think that it is frustrating having the things happen like the squid happen. It is frustrating trying to get all this down, but I think over time we're going to find, it's going to get more and more reliable. Like when we did the captain's table. That performance so far, we went through that with no squid issues at all, but the audio and the video was extremely out of sync when we watched it. So we are going to get this right at some point. It is going to happen where you're going to have a maybe not a perfect show, but a smoother show. And I think that these things are going to go. Cool Gamer claims to have an amazing idea, and this concerns me. What's that idea, Cool Gamer? Put it out there in the chat and let's see it. And we'll see how that rolls. Every time somebody says I have an idea, like that, and they qualify it by saying it's an amazing idea. All right, squish use. Yes, Courtney, we were having squish use, and hopefully we are not now. We're having some tracking issues too. Like my eye keeps looks like it's twitching, and that's not happening in real life unless the pressure's getting to me more than I realized. That's possible, I guess. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden my eye starts going out like that, and then it's getting to me. All the squish use, all the many squish use. So here we go. All right. I do remember you saying how a poster would be cool, Cool Gamer. Yeah, I do recall you mentioning. I think at the last time we did this, you mentioned like an ensemble cast picture on a poster. Which would be good when we were talking about merch and everything. We are on Twitch. Yeah, Courtney, that makes sense. So I'm Twitch, and my eye is kind of twitching there. So we have to see. Sometimes when you calibrate the trackers, it doesn't quite line up properly, and it doesn't consistently stay there. But so the technology, it's not perfect yet, but we are trying to make it as performant as we possibly can. Let's see. The freeze tag actually. Yeah, actually, that would be funny because if we played the freeze tag, if anybody had their phone open, they could look on Twitch and see where I am from the streaming. But you know what, Morgan, what we could do is move the camera. We'll move the camera in a way that messes that up. That's what we'll do. But yeah, freeze tag was a lot of fun, and I'd absolutely be down to try that again. I thought it was a really good time. It was very funny, and it was easy to catch on to. I think it was fun for everybody. I think we all enjoyed that very much. It was a good time, And Raven and I coming on saying they're joining the Discord. And again, if anybody finds that annoying and we'd like us to change the interval, please let us know. And let's see. You want to try to make a rough copy of it using pictures from all space. That's a really cool thought. But I'm always kind of hesitant when people create stuff because we are trying to build this thing up, and I don't and it comes into ownership, and I don't want it to go oh well, I made that thing and now I need 20% of everything you make, so we're always kind of a little bit hesitant about that. But I mean it's cool. I did like that thing you made with the Legos. That was pretty cool. If you want to try a mock-up of how we could design it, but fair warning that Morgan Forrest is very down with the ways of graphics. All right, she's got amazing talent, and she'll probably look at this thing and she'll be like, oh, Cool Gamer, your composition is all over the place. What are you thinking? You need to go back to art school. So that could be a thing. But yeah, we'd love to see it. If you post it up on our Discord, we'd love to see anything you have in mind as far as that's concerned. Let's see. Super VR Ball was a lot of fun. And that was a good time. But I don't think language is so much of a problem. I mean, I think we need to figure out what family friendly is. I mean, in All Space, it's one thing. We say we're family friendly there. This channel, we're just first starting out on it. And I've seen what Twitch allows. Apparently, we can curse here. And again, I don't have a problem with adult content. And I grew up in Brooklyn, so I'm kind of okay with cursing. But I think we got to find out where that is together and see what that is. And I think really what it comes down to is people's comfort. if you've got somebody that's with us that's maybe a little bit younger, like say you have somebody that's with us that's like in their early teens or something, and they're coming along. All right, I don't feel that they should be excluded from the event as long as their parents know what they're doing and they're along for it. Or maybe you've got some senior citizens with you that may have slightly different values than you. And I think what it really comes down to is is your behavior in any way, language or otherwise, making somebody else uncomfortable? And I think that's really when we say we're family friendly, I think that's what we mean. We're trying to make the most amount of people have the most comfortable experience possible. And I think that's the way it goes. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Courtney's right. Cool Gamer did put a picture of the otter that time, and I thought that came out really well. I enjoyed seeing that. I thought that was cool. So if you do, and you're right, Morgan, he did sign the contract. He consented, so that should not be a concern. So yeah, if you want to make that ensemble picture, using pictures from all space in whatever way you want to do it, a collage or anything like that, we could possibly maybe, and post that up there. Maybe we'll even show it on the show. That would be show it on the show. Is that even English? Well, maybe we'll even display it here on the program. And we'll do it that way. That might be fun, and stuff. Let's see. So possible. Now, Hummingbird wants to know, it's still raining. Oh, up at the surface, I really can't tell. And we closed things up. We battened down the hatches, and we got all that. So I can't tell that yet, but I will take a look once I get out of here, and we will find out if the weather is not interfering. That actually has happened a couple of times in All Space where we've been performing and a real world thing happens, and we try our best no matter what to keep going, no matter what goes down, and we always try to big believers in the show must go on, and but occasionally you have to intervene when something in the real world is happening, and Morgan's been great at that. Like I was on stage once, and the sky opened up like just buckets coming down, and she ran around closing the windows and the doors and all that up, but I had my headset on the entire time. And I'm sitting there wondering if anyone could hear the doors and the windows being slammed shut, but apparently nobody could. And I was on stage at the time, and it was pretty wild. And let's see. Oh, Hummingbird says you need the rain. Did it rain all the way in Brooklyn, Hummingbird? I'd like to know that. Oh yeah, Cool Gamer. There used to be an art channel. Our Discord's been through a bunch of changes over time. When we originally started, we formed a Discord not to build anything, but because we had to. In response to, at the time, I was hosting the Altspace VR 101s, and we were having a lot of division between teams, and it was a place for the moderators to gather, and that's how it began. And then it started evolving into what it is now. And we've tried a lot of different forms. And at one time, yes, there was an art channel, because that is an interest that Morgan and I both have. But like Morgan said, it was a ghost town. So we did away with it. A lot of times when you make other channels, people aren't really, they don't go and use them. And if they're not used, there's really no point in them being there to overclutter it. So if we have a channel that's like not being used, we'll address the value of it, and sometimes we'll get rid of it. But you could post it up in the comments. I don't think that'd be a problem if you come up with something. I'd love to see it. And let's see. Oh yeah, and also on our Discord for a lot of our regulars, we make custom emojis. Morgan does great work with the graphics there too. There was one for Bomba. There was one for Hummingbird. I think there's one like a beaker for Matt the Scientist. What else is there? We have a Raven up there. We have like a Ravenhall thing. And if you could hear from my tone of voice right now, we're going to try something here that I think is very necessary. If I could transition to it. There we go. And now, if you have it, everybody, now please enjoy a sip of coffee. There we go. All right, I took a big sip on that one because my face isn't contorting, so I can take my time. I can get slow. I can enjoy it. It can be good. So your subconscious needs an emoji. I don't know what that would look like. What do you think? What do you think that would look like? Yeah, the panda was for Pat Morgan. That's right. What do you think it would look like if you did an emoji for your subconscious, Cool Gamer? I'm curious what you think, how that would look. Maybe a puff of smoke. I don't know how would you express an unconscious? That's an interesting question. Anyone has ideas in the chat, let us know. Let's say at 2:23 a.m. Matt's asking. I drink coffee around the clock. It doesn't actually interfere with my ability to sleep. If I'm going to sleep, I'm going to sleep. And coffee's not going to really do that. But it's I didn't realize it was that late out there in Germany. Wow, that's wild. All right. And Courtney was drinking tea before. That's good. That's excellent. I like to know what people are drinking when they watch. I think that's pretty cool. Let's see here. Let's have a look here. And actually, because Matt made me aware of the time, I was just checking really quick. We still have a couple minutes left. We're doing okay. All right, let's see. Yoshi and Cool Gamer, do you have a favorite animal? Yoshi, if you're still out there, let us know what your favorite animal is. Actually, Morgan, it might be a dinosaur because of the name Yoshi. That's possible. Some trademark infringement there, but possibly. But yeah, confirm for us if you have a favorite animal. How about a golden hat? You know, that's an interesting idea, like a golden baseball cap. Yeah, all the emojis that we have on the Discord, that we have representing our regulars, they're all in gold. I'm not quite sure how that started actually, but it is pretty cool, and we have a consistent. There's also a giant octopus one that doesn't really belong to anybody. It's just there, and it could strike at any moment. People, it can come into a chat near you with its tentacles flailing about, and it could just take down the entire Discord slowly. But yeah, it is there. There's also, I believe, a tiger named Jack, because that was going back to the our channel. There used to be a user that was in our Discord, and he had kept bringing in animals. He kept saying they was bringing in various animals to the Discord, and then Morgan ended up making the tiger. I think he was, for that. I see Monopoly piece, the hat. Yeah, that's true. Sharky's octopus. Well, a Sharky's octopus isn't that big. Not like that. That was based on a character we haven't mentioned on the show for a while. The giant octopus, Charlotte, which we were going to be bringing back to the show in one form or another, if we can get our effects back. We always had that in mind. Some pretty cool things there, and I hope we do get to pull it off. That would be really cool. All right. So Yoshi says a cat. Well, that's a good choice. That's cool. Let's see. 1 hour behind Germany. Okay. Oh wow, for Courtney, it's 1:24 a.m. I find it amazing. Like honestly, like one of the great things about VR and the net in general is how much it kind of shrinks the world, and how you can be hanging out with people from all over the planet at any given time, and it makes you very aware of how differently time flows across the world. It's pretty amazing, because most people think of time and they think of space and distance as being different, but the fact is they are interconnected, and it is amazing to actually see how that plays out. I've got some deep and profound thoughts on that maybe I'll share in future shows. I don't think we have enough time for that right now. Don't think my voice can handle that. It requires a lot of build up to go there. Let's see. We need Sharky's squid emoji. All right. Sure. Sounds like a nice name. It does, Cool Gamer. It is, but she is definitely a very large octopus. If you're standing on the stage and you look off to your right, over that hill is usually where she hangs out, which is also near where I am now. I'm just saying, it's probably not a problem. She probably couldn't fit in the cave anyway. But yeah, it is pretty close to where I am. It's true. Cool Gamer says it's only 8 where you are. All right. Well, where I am in the real world, it's coming up on 8:30 Eastern. But where I am in the virtual world, we like to think of this as being somewhere in the Pacific. We think an island area like this would form more easily. I think if I had a favorite ocean, though, I think I'd prefer the Atlantic. Over the Pacific, but as far as the geography goes, and putting it somewhere on Earth, that we think the Pacific would work better for this, And Bomba's waving a flipper. That's good. Matt the scientist is waving, and Courtney's waving across an ocean. That's cool, But again, that's something that you see in VR. I do that a lot on stages. I'll wave at people when I find out that they're actually across an ocean. I think there's just something about it. That part doesn't get old. I think the whole distances involved is fascinating, and maybe it's something that we can explore, because I would like to play games on here a bit more. And I'm wondering what kind of cool things we could do I don't know, about explore the distance. I don't know if that makes sense. It's not a fully formed thought out, there maybe. But like I said, I also would like to have people on the show, so where we go, and, especially with our regulars, give them more of a voice in this, because it is very strange to be the only one talking. It is very odd, and I admire the people that actually do this. They're, for the Twitch streamers, we've been watching a lot of them to see how they do it. And what form it takes, and the fact that they could sit there and talk for pretty much hours at a time. Like a typical stream, they said, is about 3 hours, and I'm like, well, 3 hours, that's kind of heavy, that's kind of intense. But I mean, a lot of them are playing games, so the content is a bit different from what we're trying to do, I think. At least I hope we're bringing something unique to it. But we are going to be in the coming weeks exploring different ways of delivering this content. Like I'd like to, actually invite some or all of you along to our work sessions and see how that goes. But it does look like we are coming up on our time together. So I think recently it's been said, one of our regulars, I believe it was Courtney, who said it's time to go. Well, it's about that time, everybody. So it's speaking of time. So we're going to be heading out, and we're going to be closing the stream up here. I want to thank you all for joining us. We are going to be live in AltSpace this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Come check us out. You can go to altvr.com for a list of events in AltSpace. You can also join our Discord. For there, you'll see lots of local times on the events that we have. I'm not sure when we're going to be planning the excursion. Maybe later this week or maybe next week. We'll check it out and we'll try to maybe line that up. We may have some pop-up streams while we do testing. Like if we're going to test a work session, we may just start streaming, because one thing that I've noticed about doing this is when I'm done performing, I get out and I'm like, I want to go again. I want to do it again. Before the show starts, I get really sick and I'm like, oh, I'm going to bomb. It's going to be awful. And then I'll get out of here and I'll be like, I want to do it again. I know I can do better. I want to do it again. And then I'll go and I'll watch the feed and I'll see how I did. And it's never as bad as you think you did. Like a lot of times I think I'm bombing and I really, and it's not that way. But we'd like to, see how that goes, and but yeah, it's amazing to me, all this, and I think that we're going to explore it more fully in the weeks ahead. All right, let's see. Oh, thank you, Fioravante. That means a lot. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's amazing. Let's see. We also have Hummingbird. Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it too, Hummingbird. See, I honestly, when we started this, I was skeptical. I didn't know if people were going to like it or not. And if you're all enjoying it, I think that's great. I think I hope we're going to put a lot of work into this, and we're just going to keep making it better and better. I mean, I was telling Morgan the other night, I said, these are the shows that we're going to look back on in several years. We're going to look back on this and we're going to cringe at how awful it was compared to what we're doing now. It just keeps better and better, and we just keep improving, hopefully. It would be nice if it goes that way. But yeah, we are going to say goodnight, everybody. I hope you all have a great and wonderful night. I hope you enjoy the next couple of days. I'll see you in AltSpace on Wednesday, and Wednesday night before the show, I hope you'll join me here on Twitch at the Captain's Table, all right, where we can drink some coffee together and see how everybody's week's going, spend a little bit more time in chat. The Monday shows, I think, are a little less focused on the chat. I want to make sure I pay attention to it, though, but I think the coffee time is more chat focused if we have the people to support that. All right, everybody. Good night.
Hey everyone, it's me, Sharky. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and ring that bell. Okay, bye for now.